Good morning. It is Wednesday, November 24th, 2021. And when I tell you this is a very special edition of the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known, I kid you not. And we're going to get right into this special edition by bringing on the president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavez Jr. Good morning, Dr. Chavez.
Good morning, Stacey Brown, and on behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, we greet everybody. This is the day before Thanksgiving. I'm traveling today also. I'm at the airport, but thank you. And on behalf of Karen Carter Richards and all of the African American owned newspapers that make up the NNPA, we greet you this morning.
Well, and recognizing the historic role the NNPA's president and CEO played in the civil rights movement and his continued fight for freedom, justice, and equality for all people of color, the NAACP, Arizona State Conference, the Greater Phoenix Urban League, the Arizona Informant, the African American Clergy of Arizona, and the Phoenix Suns, and our special guest this morning honored Dr. Chavez at center court of the game Sunday. Let's bring on our special guest to talk about it, Alan A.P. Powell. Good morning, Alan A.P. Powell.
Good morning, Mr. Brown. How you doing? Good morning, Dr. Chavez.
Oh man, it's a surprise. Hey, AP, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good the day before Thanksgiving. We got a lot to be thankful for.
Well, you know what? Let's just take a look at what AP helped to put together, a stirring tribute to Dr. Chavez. Let's take a look.
President and CEO of the Greater Phoenix Urban League, George Bean, and Sun's Legacy Partner, President and CEO, STACY.
As you see, Dr. Chavez receiving a Phoenix Suns jersey, number 91, at center court, a rousing standing ovation for our president and CEO. And you hear the music in the background, Lean on Me. Doc, I know that I've talked to others. I said myself, I hadn't seen you so touched in a long, long time. AP, you also, I credit you because I know you were 1,000% behind all of this.
Yeah, well, I would say, Stacey, one of the things I would like to mention, Arizona's become a second home to Dr. Chavez. He's been here. He's done 6 bridge forums in Arizona on racial justice, equality for all. He's been back and forth. He actually did a sports forum where he moderated a sports forum with all our professional teams during the George Floyd public assassination. So he's been coming back and forth, and what better person to honor in the state of Arizona, the city of Phoenix? All our from our governor on down to our state representatives to our congressmen, they've all met Dr. Ben, touched Dr. Ben. They know his strive for excellence and what he's been through, what he's overcome, and the mission continues for Dr. Ben. He hasn't slowed up; he's speeding up. So we really appreciate him coming to the Arizona. And when we had a conversation with NAACP, Greater Phoenix Urban League, the Phoenix Suns, and all our clergy, what better person to come to Arizona to be recognized for all his efforts in the civil rights movement? And not only that, he's an ordained minister. He even preached 2 sermons in Arizona and lifted the people up in church service also. So I just want to tell Dr. Ben on behalf of the state of Arizona and all the people involved, we really appreciate him. We love him, and God bless him and his family. God bless the NNPA, because without the Black press, we don't have a voice for Black people.
Well, Dr. Chavez, want to get some words from you before you have to take off. We see Dr. Chavez again traveling.
Thank you very much. And AP, thank you so much. It's a very surprise. I know you're up early at Phoenix time to make this program. You're right. Phoenix is my second home. We have a strong Black newspaper there. The Arizona Informant, Clovis Campbell, former chair of the NNPA. But AP with the Heroes Honor Foundation, it wasn't for AP, none of that would have happened. So thank you so much. It was a great honor. I was really touched by seeing thousands and thousands of people from Arizona give me and the Black press a standing ovation. So thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. B and Stacey, and Thanksgiving to all you all.
Thanks a lot, AP. Thanks, Dr. Chavez. And for the record, he said thousands. Yeah, it was over 20,000. It was sold out, and the Phoenix Suns also won the game. Also, just to put a punctuation mark on a fantastic evening. Thanks again, AP Powell, for getting up this morning to pay tribute to Dr. Chavez. And thanks,
Stacey, can I say one more thing,
yeah,
Stacey?
oh, absolutely. Go
What
ahead.
I'd like to say is it's not the Phoenix Suns are the #1 team in the NBA right now, and they were runner-up for the NBA champions last year. So, Dr. Van is being awarded by one of the top NBA teams in the NBA and pretty much the new face of the NBA. This is an NBA team this winning right now. Got the #1 record, 13 in a row.
Yep, absolutely.
Shout out to the owners of the Phoenix Sun, Robert Carver and Jason Coley, who is the president. They really made me feel at home, and I really want to thank all of them. And AP is right. The Phoenix Suns was the first professional NBA team to put down Black Lives Matter, support Black Lives Matter on the court and the players. They have a great team, and I think they're going to have a great future this year.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks again, Dr. Chavez. Safe travels. We will see you real soon, I'm sure. And AP, thanks for getting up this morning, and thanks for doing all you do with the foundation there. It's a great foundation. Tell folks real quick, AP, how they can find more information about your foundation.
They can go to herozona.org. Hero, HEROZONA.org, and we specialize in entrepreneurship, education, and employment and community service.
Absolutely. Alan, AP, Powell, you guys enjoy. Have a great day. Now let's bring on James Wright from the Washington Informer as we discuss the headlines. Hey, James, that's a tough act to follow, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is, and very well deserved. Without a doubt, Dr. Chavez is worthy of that honor. It's interesting. Reverend Jesse Jackson once said that, unfortunately, we as humans, and I'm paraphrasing, we crucify the living but praise the dead. So we kind of have to give people their roses while they're still alive.
Well, and Dr. Chavez got a whole bunch of flowers on Sunday at the Phoenix Suns game, and glad to see it. James, we start this morning. The jury will, in about 20 minutes, will start the second day of deliberations in the trial of the men who killed Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. He was just jogging, as we know, and through a predominantly white neighborhood in February of 2020. The chief prosecutor then yesterday during the close provided jurors with a dynamic argument looking at the defendants, Greg and Travis McMichael and William Rowdy Bryant. As she delivered closing arguments, prosecutor Linda Dunikowski railed at them. She says, you can't start something and claim self-defense. Then she pointed out that they started it. She says, you started it. And, she made some serious points. But also, we know that the defense attorneys have been asking, and they asked again yesterday for a mistrial, in part again, as they pointed out the presence of Black pastors like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, and others. We know that, James, about a week ago, a number of African-American members of the clergy showed up there in Glenn County to show support, because of this this defense attorney said he didn't want any Black pastors. Well, a lot was going on there. I want us to take a look inside the courtroom at some of the arguments that was made, including a very disconcerting, disgusting, if not racist argument by the defense. Let's take a look. This is the prosecutor here who was making closing arguments, Linda Dunikowski. I'm not sure if we have volume there, but James, what did you think of the arguments made by the prosecutor?
She did exactly what a prosecutor is supposed to do. The prosecutor is supposed to represent the state. The prosecutor is supposed to make sure that all the facts are brought out in a particular case. With all due legalisms, this was a murder, and she wanted to make sure that the jury understood what took place and why it was illegal and criminal. She did her job. And the interesting thing about it is that you made an excellent point about her being eloquent about it. She was eloquent, she was straightforward, and she was professional. And she deserves praise for her closing arguments.
Yeah, and we know that Travis McMichael, the one who actually shot Ahmaud Arbery, took the stand, and really there was no real defense. That he's trying to, like his father, and like William Rowdy Bryant, is trying to use this Jim Crow era, slavery era, really, law about citizens' arrest. It was a law on the books in Georgia, James, that really was put on there for slave catchers.
That's right.
And they're trying to use that law. Now, here's the problem, though, James, that we might run into, the jury might be running into, I should say. That law was on the books, and it was taken off the books a month after Arbery's murder. How big of a role that might play in the jury's decision?
Well, the thing about it is that it's a shame that the defense has to rely on an old law that should have been taken off the books a century ago, in terms of hurting Black people and slavery and all of that sort of thing. Stacey, what really bothers me about the defense and that particular tactic is that you're not using law. You're not using good law. You're not using solid law. You're not using law that is based on what's going on today. And I know the defense is trying to do their job. If I were a defense attorney, I would be doing other things. But the point is that they're not using their best weapons in terms of trying to defend those three guys. Going back to this 1860 law, which makes no sense. People have to understand that the defense seems like they're desperate. And I don't think that they really thought out their defense strategy very well. And
when you don't have a true defense, right?
Right.
It's not going to come out well anyway, right?
Right. Maybe if I were a defense attorney, I would say that instead of trying to use the racial lens, I would have said something to the effect that they were concerned about crime in the area and just happened to see him. And then it felt like it was as a citizen they needed to arrest him. But they didn't say that. They just went into all this type of hyperbole and all of this type of emotional and bringing back these old racist fears that's just not really going to serve them well.
Yeah, and you mentioned the race angle. Something happened in that courtroom the other day, on Monday to be specific, that was really disgusting. We're going to take a listen to it right now. It was the defense argument about really victimizing Ahmaud Arbery. Let's take a listen. Okay, and I think we again having trouble with the audio on that. But James, we know what she said. She called him. She said he had long, dirty toenails. Speaking of Ahmaud Arbery, what in the world does that have to do with the case, James?
You just made an operative statement, Stacey. What in the world does that have to do with the case? And I'm going to get to your point, but let me jump to this point in terms of that. Or what in the world does whether Reverend Jackson or Dr. Freddie Haynes, or any of those pastors who happen to come to support the Arbery family, what has that got to do with the case? And why does the defense keep bringing this up? And the fact of the matter is that the defense attorneys just keep going on these side issues instead of really adequately defending their client. And let me get back now. Let me make this quick point. Would the defense attorney said anything if Dr. Charles Stanley came through, if Joel Osteen came through, if Reverend Robert Jeffries came through? So, obviously this is a racial thing. Getting back to those dirty toenails, what has that got to do with anything? And why is the defense just keep going through these racist rants and actions in order to defend their client? They need, the State Bar of Georgia needs to look at them. They need to be either censored. They need to be disciplined for this. This is not how attorneys should be conducting themselves in a court of law.
Angela Connolly, James, I think perhaps she has the answer to that. Angela Connolly, one of our viewers, she says, the defense attorney, she says she was trying to bring an outburst from the mom to claim a mistrial. And I think she probably has a point there, because 9 times they've asked for mistrials, and had the mom, raised an objection, yelled out, screamed out, or lashed out, that may have been grounds for a mistrial. Is that correct, James?
Yes, that could be grounds for a mistrial. Again, I don't like the theatrics. I would rather focus on the law. Now, they are doing their job in terms of asking for a mistrial, because if you were a defense attorney, you would want a mistrial. That means your clients get off. But again, you're dealing with theatrics. You are not dealing with facts. You're not dealing with law. And I just don't like this strategy that the defense attorneys are pursuing.
It's interesting too, that right after you mentioned the climate and race, right after Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty in Wisconsin, what do you think his first trip was? It was to Mar-a-Lago. He had a meeting with Donald Trump, and they posed for the cameras and everything with the thumbs up. It's optics is everything. It's showing your card now. It's no holding back anymore. This is who we are. And you mentioned the attorneys and that's defending the gentleman in the Arbery case. Well, they also understand that they're in a county that is known to not be too friendly to Black people, a county where you had 1,000 potential jurors, and only one of them turned out one of them who were Black made the actual final 12. And so you have 11 folks from that area, white people from that area, deliberating the fate of their fellow residents. And remember, Ahmaud Arbery was just jogging through. He did not live there.
Right. He was just jogging through, and he had every right to jog through, because this is America, and we have the right to go any place that we can. That's what this country was set up for. And I get you, Stacey, in terms of saying that you're looking at a setup in terms of maybe an acquittal. I hope that is not the case, because it would be bad law if they were to be acquitted, particularly when the prosecution has presented such a solid, strong case. And that would be more of a reflection of Glenn County than it would be of the prosecutor or the case itself. Look, we must be, you kind of alluded to this, Stacey. We must be in a new era. We must be in a new era when impartiality, when prejudice and bigotry must be the thing to go. People are now praising white supremacy, saying I'm proud to be white and white is right and all that type of stuff. 20 years ago, you didn't hear that kind of stuff. So we are in a new era, and we as Black people have to adjust to this new era, hopefully in a peaceful way, and hopefully more reasonable minds can come to the surface on this?
Well, in about 10 minutes, the jury is scheduled to resume, and it would be its second day of deliberation. They deliberated for about 4 hours yesterday. There are several counts that they have to consider, including felony murder, false imprisonment, and several other charges in this case that could lead them to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The prosecutor has said they're not seeking the death penalty, which could have been a consequence for their actions. They also say, of course, we know that they pleaded self-defense. Now, one of the arguments, James, that the defense attorney made was that Arbery struck Travis McMichael, prompting Travis McMichael to shoot him. Now, and as the prosecutor said, that takes me back to what the prosecutor said, right? She says, you can't claim self-defense when you're the one who started it. What else was Ahmaud Arbery supposed to do? What could he have done, James, if anything, differently?
Well, I guess Ahmaud Arbery was supposed to just take it. We are talking about Georgia. And, when we think about Georgia, we tend to think of cosmopolitan Atlanta with highly educated people and sophisticated and cultural people and the racial mix. But we are talking about a Georgia that tends to be, let's say, antebellum in some ways, even though there have been changes. And so I guess Ahmaud Arbery was supposed to take it and then lick his wounds. But this is a new era. And so you're right. What was he supposed to do? He was supposed to defend himself. That's what a natural person would do, defend themselves. But the question is, why did they try to pursue a citizen's arrest on no evidence? That's the real question. And that's what the prosecutor was stressing.
Exactly. That has come up a number of times. Certainly in closing arguments, you're 100% right. The prosecutor did stress that. A police officer, she said, there was no probable cause. He was jogging. He had no weapons on him. She mentioned that even the homeowner, and I think this is pivotal, James, and I want you to talk about this too. The homeowner in which Ahmaud Arbery has stopped. There was his house under construction. Nothing really of value there, but he just took a peek, curiosity, right? Yeah. But the homeowner said a number of other people had done the same thing, and Ahmaud Arbery did not do anything wrong. This is the homeowner saying Ahmaud Arbery didn't do anything wrong. How pivotal, how big should that be?
I really think the prosecution really did itself a good service by stressing that even the homeowner said there was no crime committed, and I'm sort of familiar with this. People, when they see houses, they stop by and look at pick up nails and look at how the layout is. And so that's not unusual. That is normal functional behavior, no matter what race it is. And so I think the prosecution did the right thing by really stressing that to the jury, stressing that Ahmaud Arbery did not do anything unusual. He did not do anything criminal. And yet these three guys decided that they just wanted to kill somebody. I would have used another term, but this is a family show. So this is what this was really all about. And how many times have we heard that in our history, Stacy, when a group of guys want to get together to kill some, you know what I mean? And this is exactly what this was about.
A lynching, right, James? A lynching. And Angela Connolly mentions too, again, the defense said he should have scaled a tree. Angela Connolly said that's just racist, period. And David Youngblood says, have we forgotten who we are and where we live? There's no new era, just a new iteration of the same old. And I know that we also had a comment earlier from the NMPA's executive administrator, Claudette Perry, who says defense attorney is appealing to his racist community jury to allow this murder by their fellow races. And James, so all of that begs the question, we saw Rittenhouse certainly aided totally aided by the judge in that case. We saw him walk free on all of those charges. You know, we have video today, right? You mentioned years ago, things happened years and years ago, but today we have video.
Right.
Rittenhouse's murder was captured. He murdered 2 people. He shot and killed 2 people on video.
And he didn't
that was
have
captured
to.
on video. The Ahmaud Arbery situation was captured on video. People are still walking free despite video. And if this happens in this case, James, you know, we saw some protests after the Rittenhouse acquittal. Set the scene for us if these 3 gentlemen are acquitted?
Oh my gosh. I certainly hope that people will be calm and people will be cool and cooler heads prevail. I hope that there will not be violence, not just in that community, but all over the country. But there's a deeper meaning, Stacey, that I think if there's an acquittal here, it sends a message to people that look like you and me. And that message is that anything that has to do with us in terms of hoping for justice against someone who does not look like us is just not possible. I hope that is not the situation, because this country supposedly, even though it had its racist foundings, is supposed to be that everyone is to be treated equally. And if that happens, that will not be the case anymore. I think that what needs to happen is that Congress needs to get involved. Congress needs to make some changes. Also, the state legislators need to make changes.
The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, plain and simple, right?
Yes, that needs to pass. They can bring it up again if they want to, and they need to want to do that. But this would not be a good precedent at all, not only legally, but sociologically too.
Yeah, and you know, Celeste Hart mentions too that this is a possibility, James, too, when you think about it. She says not the father and son, maybe Rowdy Bryant. He might have a better shot of acquittal than the father and son team. Even if convicted, if Travis and Greg McMichael are convicted and Rowdy Bryant is acquitted, how does the community swallow that?
Well, the community in Glenn County, and I would assume the majority.
Well, I'm talking about the Black community as a whole.
Oh, please, man! This all of these guys need to go to jail, all of them. And
so it would be a problem if the McMichael family is found guilty, as the evidence suggests they should.
Yes,
but Rowdy Bryant walks free. It's still a problem.
It is still a problem because, look, remember the good old days when you had lynchings, and you know this was a mob mentality. This was a mob mentality, and so you're gonna let one person off, and then not the others. They are just as culpable, even though they didn't commit any direct actions. They're just as culpable. They could have stopped it. That man could have put a stop to this. He did not. He's just as culpable. He is just as guilty.
Well, Celeste Hart says that community is not going for it. She says she spent time there as well. So she has a pretty keen insight, James, as to what may or may not happen there. But again, the jury, in about a minute now, the jury is expected to resume its deliberations. And so we're going to continue to watch. The Black Press of America, the National Newspaper Publicists Association, will bring you up to the minute news on the verdict, and as we are in Verdict Watch. James, thanks as always for joining us. And remember, everybody, the National Newspaper Publicists Association's Midwinter Training Conference is open to the public. It kicks off January 19th. We'll be at the Diplomat Beach Resort in Hollywood, Florida through the 22nd, where the theme is the publishing industry, advancing the Black press of America, reaffirming, engaging, and empowering. Visit www.nnpa/events.com to register and reserve your hotel room. In order to get the NMPA's discounted rate, hotel rooms must be reserved by December 12th. It's a beautiful, beautiful property. Great time, middle of January, to get away from it all and go to Hollywood, Florida, and join the NMPA. A lot of activities. Our executive administrator, Claudette Perry, has been really working overtime to put together perhaps what might be our best midwinter conference we've had. Our Black fact of the day: Rebecca Lee Crumpler, the first Black woman in the United States to qualify as a doctor. She opened her own medical clinic in Boston and dedicated herself to treating women and children who lived in poverty. She treated patients regardless of their ability to pay, and often she took no money for her work. And we're talking circa 1831 to 1895. Rebecca Lee Crumpler, the first Black woman in the United States to qualify as a doctor.
Wow.
Everybody stay safe. Please travel safely. The AAA is expecting record travel over the next few days. Be safe. Wear your mask. Get vaccinated if you can. And we will see you on Friday with another edition of Let It Be Known.